little video on tying my Resin Boatman. I'm using a size 10 scud hook with a red brass bead, and just need some black thread. And start your thread and tie it all the way down into the bend of the hook. You're going to go quite a ways down into the bend and then bring it back up a little ways, and we're going to tie in a length of 1/8 inch clear scud back. Just catch that in there and bring it right back down to where you finished off with your thread, and then all the way back up to the bead. The next thing we're going to tie in is a couple of lengths of uni stretch. So you'll want a length of olive and a length of light olive. So there's the two colors. You need about a 16-inch piece. And you're going to tie them in together right behind the bead. And these are going to form our body. So take the two lengths and hold them together, and you're just going to keep them a little bit apart. So just pull it down, have them laying right next to each other, and just start wrapping all the way down. And what it'll do is you wrap it together like that, get that out of the way, is it takes on a bit of a striped appearance. Yeah, the stuff's annoying. There we go. And then back up and just keep wrapping it. You can see that it's still striped. And we'll go up and down a few times, kind of stopping a little bit less of the way down from the previous wrap. So you're slowly building up a good body profile, with it being quite a bit thicker towards the bead. And then you can just tie it off behind the bead. Okay, then you're going to take your scud back and wrap the entire body with the scud back. I'm going to cover it, so make sure it's overlapping a little bit. All the way back up to the top. Tie that off. And the reason we're putting this on is because we don't want the resin going into the uni stretch, because it'll just make it really brittle and it'll darken up. Trim off that little bit. Okay, now we're going to get into our resin. So the first one I'm going to use is clear. I use Gulf resin, so this is the Clear Classic. And I'm going to put that on the underside of the Boatman. Just enough to work up to the... Where's my bodkin gone? So just move that so it's about halfway up either side. Just going to add some shine and some durability to the pattern. Okay, once you have that kind of how you want it, cure that. Okay, flip it over, and we're going to add some Gulf Dirty Motor Oil. So this is kind of a dark amber color. Put that along the back. with enough to go down along the side and kind of end up meeting where you brought the clear resin up. Now just move your resin around where you want it. Try and keep the shape of your hook. It's always kind of your guide in keeping the body nice and smooth. So it's got a really nice rounded look to it. That looks pretty good. Look here, that. Okay, and then we're going to tie in the rubber legs. So I use either Rainey's or Orvis rubber legs. You don't really want to use those silly legs because they're really fragile. They'll break quite easily. So the Rainey's rubber legs are really good. These are kind of a clear with barred with black and some glitter on them. So just get them started to where you want it, and then I just kind of hold these down and just wrap them in. And you can kind of move them to where you want them. Don't pull them too hard because they will break. And then just wrap those in with a whole bunch of wraps. It's all going to get covered with resin too. Get them to where you want them. And then I'll pull them back without stretching them to just beyond the hook, the bend of the hook there. Cut them off. This is your length. You can maneuver them to where you want. Some guys like them pointing up towards the front, straight out, you know, towards the side, but you want to be able to, so they have some movement in the water. And we'll just tie that off so we get and cut off your thread. So the next thing I do is I take a black marker and I color the top of the bead and the thread, and then I'll go just a little bit along the back because I kind of want that to be nice and dark with the resin on it. You can see it's just covered the top of the bead and along the back. Then I'm going to use black resin. This is Gulf Black Magic. And I'm going to put that right on the top and down the back. And I really only want this to be along kind of the back of the body and on top of the bead. You have lots of time to play with resin. It's not as quick as you might think. So you kind of let it flow and get nice and smooth. You can see it's nice and smooth there. And I'll cure that. And then I'll add one more color to the abdomen. So I'll take a bit of nymph green resin. And I'm going to put that on the threads underneath. And a little bit onto the body, just where the legs are, not too much. The nymph green has a lot of UV properties in it, so it's really bright when you put a light on it. We'll cure that. So what I tried to do a little bit of this pattern is imitate the Jennings Ultimate Boatman pattern, which I think is the best boatman pattern out there. But this gives you some Some markings on the abdomen with the green, and then the black shell, and the red bead for the red eyes. Get that cured, and that's it. So there's my Resin Boatman. So he's got a nice shiny black back, dark where we put the black marker. There you go. Thanks for watching.